돌아온 영들 리턴하지.
Welcome back to the 2016 Hearthstone Kespa Cup here live at the Nexen Arena. We just had our first player to advance to the winners match and the first players to drop down to the losers match. We are going to be jumping into Dahyunny versus Kai0 in our second match of the night.
This is going to be a good one for sure. I'm not going to spoil anything, but Kai0 has definitely brought some interesting decks to the table. Some of the decks reminiscent of what we saw from Caster yesterday. In decks that are a little bit, I'd say, non-meta and potentially counter-specific decks from looking at his lists. So we'll see what he's going to choose here in this draft. Of course, Dahyunny famous for those videos we have in the ads, and it's not going to be a first pick Shaman versus Shaman. Dahyunny, I think he's understanding. He's starting to figure out Rogue is the way.
Rogue is the way right now. It's just so strong. It might be one of our most successful decks so far. And Shaman the first pick here for Kai0. That's been kind of the standard. Immediately the Shaman gets banned for Dahyunny.
Yeah, he does not want to deal with that. And the self-bans here are going to be Priest for Dahyunny, as he's brought a Priest deck to the table, and Kai0 will self-ban Warrior. Meaning both these decks are probably on the extreme edge of one archetype or another. They want to keep that hidden. And we see Dahyunny brings the Mage and Druid, whereas Kai0 will bring Warlock and Paladin. This will be the first time we actually have both players play 3 different classes, so we will see no mirrors at all.
That's nice, actually. I like that. And we're going to get to see another mix, too. We haven't seen Druid yet today. Got banned, self-banned by both players in the last match that we had. And another Mage coming out here. Going to be curious to see if that's Freeze Mage or some other kind of Mage. And then Paladin, again. Will it be Murloc or some other kind of weird, I don't know what it could be. Paladin, not one of the most popular decks we've had here so far.
Yeah, definitely not the most successful. Self-banned twice by Caster yesterday.
Yeah, so guys, we are going to start up game number 1 right now of match number 2, Kai0 versus Dahyunny, going head-to-head on stage right now.
Paladin versus what looks likely to be Freeze Mage with 2 ice blocks in starting hand. Paladin looks like it might be a control Paladin. He's got True Silver, Defender, and he's got the Acolyte of Pain, which synergizes well with many cards. And you can see even with the Novice Engineer, the Forgotten Torch, it is going to be pretty clearly a Freeze Mage deck.
And anything can happen here for Kai0, so maybe some more control-y kind of Murloc Paladin deck here from Kai0.
Definitely seems that way. See the coin actually on the Acolyte of Pain here for Dahyunny. Also start getting that card draw out right away. It was very powerful versus Paladin because it will clear the hero power of your opponent and also gain you card draw. You can also use it with your Fire Blast hero power. So he will clear the 1/1 first to force his opponent to draw on his own turn. And then we'll Roaring Torch, in fact. So, well, Forgotten Torch will gain a Roaring Torch.
Yeah.
This looks to be the same deck that we saw from Caster in almost all regards right now. With Forbidden Healing, we see Finja as well. Finja the Flying Ninja. Flying Star is his technical name, but he is a Flying Ninja. He's not actually a star. He's got an identity crisis.
Just got to work on that. It's an interesting card.
You know, this is like a really nice setup so far for Dahyoni. He can get a free draw here with this slow startup for Kai0. He can Thaurissan very soon. He has Thaurissan in his starting hand with one of the critical pieces of how he's going to look for lethal with that Frostbolt.
And look at that. He gets Finja on turn 5, and that's easily going to clear up the Novice Engineer, unless Dahyoni wants to deny it by pinging it. But that's 2 crucial mana that he may not want to use.
He could also potentially Doomsayer and ping, which would clear Finja, and he's going to go ahead and
he's going to ping it.
He's going to do it. Yeah, he's not going to Doomsayer, so Finja won't gain value because he can't clear anything. And here comes out one of the Bluegills.
Yeah, generally you just want your Murlocs to die so that they can come back to life all at once with anything can happen. So we'll see maybe if he just throws it out there. Especially against a freeze mage, you want to get as much damage as possible and burn him down.
Yeah, and he's not running too many Murlocs, it seems, from what we've seen so far. He also has 2 Anyfins. The Murloc War Leader would be one that's really crucial to have on your Anyfin can happen. It looks like he's going to hold it in hand for now. And this is another turn for Dahyoni where throwing the Novice may cause him to maybe a 4-mana Novice Engineer because he wants to clear it to prevent Finja from getting another Murloc on board. He could also Thaurissan. Thaurissan will be difficult to clear, may force Equality to be used. He doesn't know if Equality is in Kai0's hand right now. And it will give him 2 easy mana draws with the Arcane Intellects, and we'll give him again that critical piece. Frostbolt being reduced, if it can be reduced to 0, is insanely good for that lethal turn later on in the game.
Yeah. He may wait to get more spells in his hands, you know, because as you were saying, he does have the Frostbolt, but nothing else that will be used in the combo. So maybe he wants to draw a bit more. You can see a lot of the cards that he has in his hands. Double Arcane Intellect, the Novice Engineer, even the Acolyte of Pain, a lot of drawing cards. But he's just going to go ahead and use it.
So in order to remove this, we will almost certainly see Equality. Could be paired with Solemn Vigil here, as that will be reduced to 3 mana with both minions destroyed. He could also save Equality, but what's the point? This is probably the biggest minion he encounters unless Dahyoni runs Archmage Antonidas.
Okay, I was thinking he might do this. He's going to run in Finja just to get the clear, so he can draw the 2 Murlocs.
Oh, and he gets War Leader.
Yeah.
Nice. And you know, he may know that was like basically a statistic fact that he was going to gain the War Leader there based on how many Murlocs he has in his deck. Because he already used 1 Bluegill, maybe he only runs those 4 in Finja. So it could have actually been a very calculated move in order to do that. Now he's got 2 mana away from anything can happen. Very strong position for Kai0.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we do have the first ice block already used, so we are going to have to see the, you know, one anything can happen potentially into another one, but then he's already got the second ice block. No, actually he doesn't. Not
he doesn't
yet.
have it, yeah.
He does have an ice barrier.
It's going to help him stay alive a little bit longer. Curious to see if he wants to use the Volcanic Potion right now. He can clear the board with that and a ping. Not anymore. Doesn't have enough mana. He'll toss it out there. Leave the Murloc War Leader alive. And he will use the Doomsayer. Solemn Vigil here can be used as well. With this, he's going to drop out Tyrion. A weapon. Kind of the funniest way to ever see Tyrion used, but and the fact that he used it with that confidence makes me never even want to talk about any sort of possible, like, I'm like, well, should they have done that? What else could he have done? Like, I just want to say it was absolutely the correct
It's like,
move.
yeah, no, of course, this is the play all the time. I mean, you get 15 damage over 3 turns, pretty much for free, so you know you're putting the mage on a timer right now. And I think that's the most important thing.
Most people aren't running Harrison. Some people are running Oozes Cabal Lackey's going to come out. It's going to give him that free Ice Barrier, and Ice Block will get drawn here. He has Alex Strasza as well. With the Forbidden Healing, though, Kai-Zero is not going to be in lethal range anytime soon, and even can play it right after Alex Strasza to get health back. He has the Equality he can help to kill Strasza with as well. Here's the pop on Ice Barrier. And anything can happen is available next turn.
Just thinking about playing another minion. As you were saying, when you're playing against Freeze Mage, what are you going to use Eldar Peacekeepers on? What are you going to use Equalities on?
You know what? If he has Eldar Peacekeeper here, he can kill Alex Strasza easier. He doesn't know that Alex Strasza could be a play next turn for Dahyanni, but he won't have to take 8 damage to the face if he has that Peacekeeper on board when Alex Strasza is played. So if he uses Equality, he just runs in the Peacekeeper instead. And then could even heal for 16 right afterwards. I guess you could argue that he could use this Hero Power as well for the same purpose.
And he has a second Peacekeeper, so if he wants to use that a little bit later for the Alex Strasza turn here.
So this is the play for Dahyanni. And this may neuter the Alex Strasza.
Then maybe just go straight Forbidden Healing to make sure you don't die.
That'll put him up to 29. Alex Strasza's only 1 additional damage.
It's a lot of healing. It's almost as if Alex Strasza did nothing.
Yeah. In fact, I'm not entirely sure what his health was before Alex Strasza.
I think it was 29.
I was going to say, if it was anything less than Alex Strasza's.
Let me check. Yeah, it was.
Exactly 29. This is not looking good for Dahyanni with the heal that just occurred. We see the second Frostbolt is here. He will have to... Oh, he's going to Frost Nova. I'd say Ice Block is almost required at this point, too.
Well, he does have 1 Ice Block still up. I know it's cut off by the...
oh, that's right. It's
by the cards
never mind, yeah. That happened to me yesterday, too.
But he does have a second Ice Block, too. So it looks like, for now, especially when you're playing against a control-ish kind of Paladin like this, really the only burst he's going to have is the Anything Can Happen. So maybe he wants to force one here.
He doesn't have Flame Strike, but he does have a Blizzard. And Anything Can Happen will only proc with 4 minions here because of the frozen minions you just described. He's going to pop that 2 mana Ice Block, the Immune, and this is an easily cleared board by the Doomsayer.
This is still such a scary spot for Dahyanni because next turn, second Anything Can Happen. Or he doesn't even need to use that. He can use True Silver Champion just in case for this Ice Block. And then he has his Anything Can Happen. So he has 2 turns of direct damage.
He has
that will be enough.
Ice Lance now, so he's going to start doing some damage here. Fireball. If Tharson is not cleared, he actually will have 12 damage.
The Thalnos.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what I meant. I think I said Ice Block there, but yeah. The
It'll
Thalnos
be 4, 4, 5.
will do 13 damage. And he'll have the ability to Hero Power as well. And
an attack with the Thalnos.
if he drops the Kobold, then he has 7. I'm not going to do math on stream. Hold on, let's watch this occur.
Definitely going to clear the Thalnos just because he has more than enough damage.
Sure, yeah.
Decides to use the Anything this turn instead of the sword so that he can do that. So he has, double attacks there. And here's the Kobold you were talking about.
All right, let's see. Like, he has Roaring Torch too. This actually might be lethal.
It could be.
I can't see all the card numbers, so I'm like getting tripped out a little bit. But here comes the +2 from an evolved Kobold. This is 8 damage.
Oh man, I think it's
5
enough.
damage.
Oh boy. There'll be another 5 and then the Ice Lance. So that's
That
gonna be
is
it.
lethal. There you go. Freeze Mage, pretty good.
Yeah. He got it the 1 turn before he was going to die. That was the last turn that he had, and it was enough. So well done to Dahyanni, just calculating it right down to the bottom, and he does get that Roaring Torch draw, of course, which helps him out in the end. Probably was not going to be able to hit lethal unless he got that Roaring Torch. So
what's exciting though is we do see that this Paladin deck that we saw Caster play yesterday, at least in some variation, is definitely viable against the Mage, and nearly won him the game. That Forbidden Healing there, quite powerful. He was able to get 2 any-pins off. The deck looks insanely strong against slow control decks, so it might be a deck that is designed to counter those types of slower decks. And he will have to use it in this best of 5 if he wants to advance to the winner's match, so he might stick with it here. And he'll face off against either Rogue or Druid from Dahyoni. And Kai0 just frustrating loss there. I mean, like, almost exact lethal when in terms of mana.
So close in that one. We'll see how close it can get here going into game number 2 of Dahyoni versus Kai0.
They will switch to Shaman. The first time we've seen a switch in this tournament. Not the first, but one of the first. In fact, I think the only 2 times we saw it was both with the Paladin decks, were switched away with Caster and now Kai0. And we will see Dahyoni bring out the Rogue deck, leaving Druid for last.
I think it's a decent idea. I think Shaman's going to have an easier time against this Rogue deck than the Paladin would. And so you want to switch that out. Don't give the Rogue just a free win.
Well, here he comes. Second-hand Buccaneer.
Inferior Buccaneer.
The slightly less popular in high school Buccaneer.
Yeah.
Buccaneer hung out in the computer lab at lunch.
That he did.
Probably playing games so he could become a Hearthstone pro gamer when he got older.
He doesn't have glasses though, so kind of refutes
but he's got a lantern. I mean, maybe he's got poor eyesight, but he wanted to wear the glasses to seem cool. He took the glasses off because he was like, well, everyone think I got contacts. My mom won't let me. Who knows? But he's a pirate, okay? He's got his little, you know,
he's got his pirate things going on. It's true.
Well, we do see patches come out with said unpopular Buccaneer. And with the backstab here, he could clear this with patches. Will maintain pirate. He loses his combo with backstab and SI7. But that's not really something he's going to be worried about versus Shaman specifically. It's much stronger versus decks that run 4-drops. So you get that 3 mana 4 with a 3/3 on board. Kind of weapon to clear as well. For some reason my mind wasn't thinking of that because this is going to become a 3/2. And he will clear it. He can face himself with 1.
You see a lot of thought going into that one for Dahyoni. But it's definitely the right play. The patches will be able to clear this, so it's not too annoying. A couple more of his nerd friends join the fray.
It's just unfortunate because that's those are really the only 2 things that can clear that with 1. His patches and a weapon. So he's like, aha, I got you, Shaman. You don't have any 1 damage card. It's never going to be efficient. And then he gets the easiest free 1 damage. Still a tempo and board advantage, as Grands like to call it, a field advantage. So they take that term from Yu-Gi-Oh! Here for Dahyoni.
Again, the backstab SI7 agent, one of the best combos in the game.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised we see that.
He gets the totem guy, the Tuskar Totemic.
That's pretty solid. Too bad he didn't get taunt. That would have been sick.
1/1 is pretty nice too. Although if the Shaman does draw a Maelstrom, it's kind of like, well, not doing much.
Well, he doesn't draw it. That's probably what Dahyoni is afraid of right now. He will Spirit Wolves, and see you later, Tuskar. He'll belong on that side of the board. The Lightning Bolted. And this is actually a bit awkward to clear. Looks like he's just going to draw. He might clear one. He should, because of Maelstrom potential.
Yeah, I think he should. Also, 2 of them are going to be cleared next turn anyway, and then you're going to have 2 Wolves with 2/2, which is much better for the Shaman than the Rogue. So definitely the right play. Glad we're all on the same page here.
The Totem Golem comes out, very mana efficient here with the overload that we saw from the Wolves.
Good draw.
The Lightning Bolt, so yeah, perfect top deck there.
But look at this. That Tomb Pillager has been MVP for a lot of these games, and using that to combo the Eviscerate for an easy clear on the Totem Golem is pretty nice. We do see the Flame Wreath Faceless is drawn, but he's just going to go for the damage there and get the Jade Golem.
Yeah, the Jade Lightning will give him the Golem, which in this case, with no damage coming out from hand, may force him to trade with the Drake. It's going to be a little bit tougher to keep that Drake alive now, so it's a nice threat, and he can always force Dahyoni to use some sort of other damage in hand, and then he brings out the Faceless Flame Wreather, the Flame Wreath Faceless.
And look at what we see. We see Edwin Van Cleef, and we said this yesterday. Shamans don't run Hex nowadays, right? We saw him use 2 Jade Lightnings. What does he have left? He used a Lightning Bolt as well.
Yeah,
if you go for a big Edwin Van Cleef here, I think it would be an 8/8, and you give the Cold Blood to the Drake. It's going to be nearly impossible to clear.
Yeah, the Lava Burst is really the only thing that he could try to clear with, but it's not going to be enough on its own. And he's going to go for the Leroy into it. Instead, it looks like here with the Cold Blood. Can actually still play both.
Oh, actually, you can do
you get all
of this.
Yep.
Okay. So that makes it a 10/10 instead of an 8/8.
Very aggressive turn here. So 14 damage to face.
And what do you do? What do you do as a Shaman?
He needs a Maelstrom Portal. That's like what he wants. That's the dream. He does not get it. He can clear both. Oh, he just concedes.
Yeah.
That would have been 11 damage no matter what. No matter which way he did it. He needed the Maelstrom Portal.
And even then...
Yeah, even then he would have died.
Would have been too much. So Dahyoni just with the perfect set of cards to throw that Shaman over the edge.
Rogue has like an incredible win rate in this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's something like 85%. I would love to see the stats at the end of the 2 days going into semifinals and finals, just because that's really important to see what decks these players do bring into the semifinals and finals. So only 1 deck left here for Dahyoni. It is the Druid.
Yeah, and now already 0-1 with Paladin and Shaman. Kai0 could bring out his Warlock deck, but this is definitely a frustrating position. A loss with any of his 3 decks means a win for Dahyoni. Advance to the winner's match in a much faster series than our previous one.
Yeah. To see if Dahyoni can do this once and for all, get the 3-0, or if he's going to have some trouble, some roadblocks in front of him here. He does have 3 chances, as you were saying. Let's see if he could do it here, going into game number 3 up against Kai0 on the big stage.
Alright, we knew Druid was going to be the class of choice for Dahyoni, the last remaining of his decks. We will see Shaman repeat here for Kai0. We'll have to win Shaman, Paladin, and Warlock against this remaining Druid deck in order to advance. It's going to be a long, hard road, but we saw something similar yesterday, that similar kind of defensive survival, winning 3 in a row, so it could happen. He's got a good hand here with the second rate into the charge. Was it the part-time Buccaneer?
Yeah, the inferior Buccaneer, I think. That's the name.
No. Not as good as the Buccaneer that gets attacked when you, or gives your weapon one attack. Not as good as that one. It's just small time.
Lots of damage coming out already, and he's going to be forced to use the Wrath and the Living Roots here.
Yep. 2 spells used. And Frog's going to come out. He's going to get the +1 from the Totem Golem. There's no more removal in hand now.
This could be a quick game for our Shaman player Kai0. With a start like this, is one of the best starts you can get.
He's going to play Fandral because he knows that's basically a 3-5 taunt. I'll see if he just ignores it. I mean, he has Lightning Bolt, so he might Lightning Bolt and then use a weapon and patches to clear. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Lightning Bolt, weapon, patches, Frog, and Totem Golem to face. Yeah.
So there you have it. No more Fandral on the board. And stuck in an awkward spot now is Daiani with the draw on Jade Blossom. Not really. He needs more removal, I suppose. Maybe a swipe would be nice for the Totem Golem.
I think he's going to have to play the Jade Spirit.
Then it just easily gets traded out. I mean,
Bran is a good play next turn. Like if he goes greedy and plays the Empty Crystal, if he goes down that path, then he's gonna have 7 mana next turn. He can play both and get a 2/2 and a 3/3 with another 2/3. But I feel like it's too late at that point.
Yeah, you're sitting on 16 health with 7 damage on board. Not to mention, you know, all these overload charges, or cards rather, from the Shaman. He is going to go for the Jade Spirit. And with the draw on Lava Burst, we're getting really close, and he may just want to go face at this
point. If he gets taunt, he definitely will. Gets heal.
So now he'll trade it out. Okay. Has lethal next turn, regardless. So definitely the right move.
15, potentially, 16, potentially 20, in fact, if he gets a Spell Power Totem, I think. I know that would be 18, but still a lot. Here's Bran, but it's over. So, Kai0 wins the fastest game in today's tournament.
Wow.
And we'll actually keep
the overkill.
Well, he wants to keep the Lava Burst hidden, I guess.
That's true. That's true. Pretty important. And so Kai0 does take a quick game, evens up the score now, or well, gets a win at least. And not the best curve there for Daiani, and basically a perfect curve for the Shaman. That's that game you play on ladder and you're like, well, he has all the perfect cards. There was nothing I could do. Never lucky, etc., etc. And Daiani, I think he's kind of acknowledged that, and he's like, okay, next game. Shaman's really strong, whatever. Still got 2 more decks to go up against that my deck should be pretty strong against.
Absolutely. Well, Paladin and Warlock remain. We've already seen the Paladin Murloc deck, which absolutely could work against this Druid deck.
Yeah, definitely has a chance here, so let's jump straight into game number 4 now for Daiani versus Kai0.
Paladin it is for Kai0.
내가 대자연을 수호하게
And we'll hold on
영예롭게
to
싸우리라.
his crazy name card that we looked up yesterday. It is the
Wicker Flame Burn Bristle.
Yes, he holds on to that one. And he will keep the Peacekeeper. He has Ragnaros Lightlord as well. So, some late game cards here. And with this hand, I actually think that Dahyunni's got the better opening.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not enough pressure here for Kai0, and Dahyunni will potentially be able to run away with this ramp.
Look at this, he's going to gain another mana crystal. Next turn he has 5 mana crystals. And he can go into Nourish if he wants to get even crazier with the mana crystal gain.
The Burn Bristle is not a threat. I'd say more than the crystals for Nourish he draws here if he wants to use it. He can also Druid of the Claw, save his Innervate, could play an 8-drop next turn. He can also kill Burn Bristle if he wants to, using his hero power and the Entangling Roots. And that would not be a very mana efficient choice. But he could then Innervate out the Jade Spirit. So I'm just gonna go for the Nourish play. I think this is the best play. I like it the most. And when he gets the Ooze too, so he's got even True Silver protection.
Yeah, he's in a really nice spot. Next turn he can Behemoth if he wants. Jade Behemoth, he gets a 2/2 Jade Golem, and that Jade ramp begins to get kind of scary here.
Now this Paladin deck feels like it's such a counter to the Pirate Warrior aggro, and it's not working out in this situation as well. Roots come out. Looks like he's going to kill the Pyromancer. Forbidden Healing comes out. Here's Finja. And I think he'll keep the Divine Shield. Trades it, actually. I guess the idea here is could just go down to hero power or a swipe.
Yeah, just doesn't want it to get
but
removed.
yeah.
You could see the Wrath being used here potentially. He does have the Gadsden Auctioneer with an Innervate and a decent amount of mana, so if he wanted to go down that path, that's another option.
Yeah, he could Gadgetson, Innervate, see what he gets. Wrath, the 1/1. Not going to do that. Wait until he has more mana, more opportunities to draw before he does that. Empty his hand out a little bit more. I wonder if he'll Jade Blossom here. It's up to 3/3 now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think it's...
Or is it still the 2/2?
2/2, yeah.
Okay, 2/2. Jade Blossom gives him more mana to draw with next turn, and that's what he's going to use. Gets the 2/2 as well. And Finja wants the clear, but he doesn't have enough damage without the Bluegill. But yeah, it looks like he's going to get it with the Bluegill regardless.
And he's going to keep his Finja healthy with the Alder Peacekeeper. And oh boy, okay. Gets another charge, kills another Bluegill. And immediately Finja's up at 4/4.
Could be 4/5 if he used his Forbidden Healing on it. I don't know what he's thinking. Alright, Brad's going to come out, and this means a 3/3 and a 4/4 with the Behemoth. And this is when things start to get terrifying when you're playing against this Jade archetype. He's going to get another Murloc. I think he only has one. No, he has none. Okay, just the one. Yeah, so he does only run those cards, as we were predicting earlier. And...
now this is kind of an awkward turn.
yeah.
I suppose you can Forbidden Healing, but...
He could Doomsayer, but I don't feel like it's necessary with Ragnaros Lightlord and Forbidden Healing in hand. Can just absorb the damage. Well, it prevents him from playing more Jade Golems. Well, that's not even true, actually, because the 4/3 and the 3/3 can clear the Doomsayer. It's a bit desperate. That means, though, that he will still keep his Murlocs alive, and he needs them alive for 2 more turns before he can get the Anything Can Happen.
Okay, here we go. Gadsden is going to come out. He can Innervate, he can Wild Growth.
Wild Growth first. We'll draw him 2 cards minimum.
3 cards even. And still has 2 more mana plus the Innervate. So picks up a second Wrath, I believe. Yeah. That super glowing
It's a
God
holographic Wrath.
It's
the Chinese holographic Wrath. That
And
your
then-
friend only shows you at the lunch table. It says not to tell anyone about, but he already told everyone about it. All right, we're gonna see the Doomsayer cleared here.
누구도 기다리지 않는다.
Gonna use Living Roots first.
Yep.
2 damage on the 5/2, and then the other War Leader is gonna go down to 3 health.
I don't know what he drew because the holographic wrath, but we'll find out soon enough. I think it's the Jade Icon or Idol, excuse me.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Okay. So he has those. So he's just gonna start drawing it, putting more and more of those Jades onto the board. Got another Innervate.
Oh man, he could have innervated out another, maybe shuffle the Jade Idol Golems, you know, 3 of the cards into your deck at that point, and then go for Raven Idol, and you get another spell if you get innervate. Maybe you don't want to use it because you have other spells. But
I think because Auctioneer's still there, he definitely wants to shuffle so that he can get free cards. Oh man, is he gonna play both? That's like almost too much.
that's too scary for me.
He's gonna shuffle, right? Let's see what he decides. Yeah, he shuffles. Because if he doesn't have that many more Jades he can get. Now he's got Vandal, so he will shuffle.
He's going off, man. This is insane.
This is why this deck is fun to play. It's the first deck I played on this expansion. Okay, well this is not that cool. It's like, all right, whatever. He could silence that later, but probably not. Mulch is nice. He'll take that. Now he's hoping for some more Jade Idols.
Let's hope Kai0 doesn't get a Deathwing here. Okay, Nazat's first mate, not exactly as good. Oh, he's gonna shuffle again. This is just...
Yeah, this just keeps happening.
now.
And now, it's not over yet. He could innervate and draw some more.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're worried about fatigue right now, you're not thinking straight because you can't fatigue with this deck. It is impossible, if played correctly, to fatigue. You just continue to shuffle, and then draw, and then shuffle, and then draw, and then
And with
shuffle.
Fandral out there, you're doing them at the same time, so it's just shuffling and getting a Jade Golem. It's insane.
So if you've never seen this before, and I'm not talking about the rare holographic, you're in for a treat.
Gets
does
4
he have
attack.
lethal?
I think this must be lethal. He's got double swipe in his hand.
Yes. 4+4.
Equals 8. And there you go. It's going to be enough to kill Kai0, and Daihani will win the series 3-1 and move on to our winners match.
He showed the power of that deck, that is for sure. And that's the deck I played almost exclusively for 2 weeks. And when you win, your opponent cries.
You win. You really win. And that's why those early matches are so important, because for decks like that, which are sometimes hit or miss, you want more chances, right? So Daihani got a 2-0 lead very soon, very quickly, so he was able to get 3 chances, essentially, with this Druid to get a ramp like that going. And so, well done to him. Good choices on his decks, and he will be going to the winner's match to face off against Chunsu in the winner's match.
That's right. So Chunsu showing us some pretty cool decks too. This is going to be an exciting winners, and obviously we don't have Flurry there, and a lot of people are expecting him to get out of the group. But we'll see if he can defeat Kai0. That should be a good match as well. This group actually turning out to be, I feel personally, a lot more exciting than yesterday's.
Yeah, would have to agree with you. I mean, even that play there, that was interesting. The kill onto the Tyrion to get the weapon, but way too much damage coming out of Freeze Mage. Will pick it up with the draw on the Roaring Torch there, just in time.
Yeah, this is painful to watch if you are a Kai0 fan, as it is just non-stop pain.
And even if he had used the True Silver Champion there, he wouldn't have had enough health. And there would have still been the Thalnos on board, so makes sense the way he played it. Kai0 did not misplay in that situation.
Yep. And we see this Rogue deck dominating the tournament so far, and I think we'll be seeing it in every match. It's not abandoned for the rest of the evening. 3 more best of 5s to go, and it just, I don't have the stats like you said, but I have to imagine it's like 80% plus. I actually can't even remember a game where a Rogue lost. Like, I'm like thinking back and I'm like, no, it's not coming to mind.
Well, the thing about it, too, is that we haven't seen it really banned out too much. I think Daihani banned it out in that one, at least, which is really good. We didn't get to see Kai0 playing that Rogue. And, of course, Daihenny did get to use his, so he did win with that. So it's a pretty strong one. Would not be surprised to see more bans on Rogue in the future, especially with the first pick Shaman. So they already have their Shaman, just go for the Rogue. But
yeah, I would have to agree with that as well. And it might create a shift where people are first picking Rogue, as Daihenny did. So I think Daihenny is kind of ahead of the curve in terms of deck strength right now. So we'll see if that changes later on this evening or even tomorrow in the finals.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break before we get to that winners match, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.